Hello everyone, I'm gonna present to you my new build. As you can see, it's a minion build. It's a little bit special, so bear with me. The main selling point of the build is kind of this interaction. So I'm using skeletons and I'm wording them with Infernal Legion and also have Minion Instability. So if you're still interested, I guess, keep watching. First of all, let me tell you why I did not choose SRS, as usually you would use SRS for this kind of a build. For me, it's a matter of playstyle. The way I play this is like a trapper somewhat, because you spawn your 4 skeletons, you move, then you spawn your skeletons, then you move again. With the SRS, you kind of stop, cast a couple of them, move on, and for me that is kind of slow and somewhat clunky. I guess it's a matter of preference. It's true, by going SRS and using the SRS Amulet, you would double the damage of the exploding minions. So please take that into consideration. Going over the items. I guess the helmet is the most important part. Has socket gems supported by burning damage, minion life, and minion damage. I think this is the best in the slot for this. I don't think you're gonna find anyone selling it, sadly. When I searched for it, I was lucky. There was only one. As you can see, without the socket gem levels. So without the increase to the level of minion gems, you can find them. With that, difficult. For the summon skeletons gems, I'm using summon skeleton while summon skeletons. Anomalous Infernal Legion support. I'm using this because this increases the damage they take by 10%. Concentrated effect and combustion. Well, let's go to the weapon and I'm gonna explain a little bit more. Weapon is quite cheap. The starts are kind of difficult to find. This is almost perfect. We have minion deals 40% increased damage, and some skeletons take 29.4 of their maximum life per second as fire damage. The thing is, I don't want my skeletons to live that much. I want them to live just as much as they need to, meaning I want them to hit the enemies. This is more for the bossing ones, where they would cover them in ash. So it's I think it's a fine balance between having them explode almost immediately and having them to have some life, so some time alive, so they can hit the enemies. For the shield, I'm using Lionized Remorse because it gives you quite a lot of life, and I didn't find, and also the quite a lot of armor, and I didn't want to spend a lot of currency for player shield with similar stats. Basically, the downside is the 5% reduced movement speed, which is kind of bad, I guess. For the amulet, we're using an presence, ability. We're using ability as an aura. As you can see, the here it is. Blasphemy support, ability, and power for the ability. It's not 920 yet. I'm still probably to play this a little bit more, I guess. We'll see. For their armor, we're having the Bloodbound Bone Armor because it gives us increasing maximum life for us and for the minions, which is important for the blowing up part. I actually didn't search for an alternative. I was considering initially using Chapter. Then again, why wouldn't I need them to have maximum energy, as the burning damage almost scales from life and not energy shield. So I decided to go with this because it gave me and the minions quite a lot of life. For the rings, I'm guessing yours kind of typical minion ring, resist, and minion deals increased damage and life. Keep in mind that you also need a little bit of strength for the auras, especially determination. Yep. Also, let's go for the auras in the armor. I'm using the armor for the auras. We have determination, clarity, because we need some regen, primitive elements to be ailment immune, benevolence for the burning, and enlightened. I don't have enlightened 4, probably that would be better, but yeah. And also on the last part, I would probably use vitality, but I don't have the mana reservation for that. I just put in a portal just for the, yeah, just have something there. For the boots, basically this is quite easy. It's movement speed, charge damage, if some regen. Basically I'm having only Chaos here because with the skill tree and with purity of elements we're almost capped off. I would like a little bit more cold and lightning to be over capped a little bit more, so we have the curse that drops our elements, but and also charge resistance is kind of low. Basically you could get better gear here. And for the gems in the boots, basically this is just damage taken, molten shell, life tap, and increased duration. We're using life tap because we don't have mana to cast the molten shell, so we're using our HP. For the belt is darkness enthroned with 2 jewels with maximum life to us. Minions have increased maximum life, and minions deal 17 increased damage if you use the minion skills. And we're also constantly using a minion skill, so yeah, this is almost applies every time. For the gloves, also I think your standard, kind of standard minion gloves with minion doesn't give damage, life, lightning resistance, and in our case show resistance. So also the implicit from the future for the searing air search with minion deals increased damage. I could probably get that higher, but I didn't want to consume that much currency for that. But the flask, we're having a quick sliver with gain 3 charges when you're hit and increased armor. For the quartz, it's the movement speed, the same thing with gain 5 charges when you're hit by an enemy. We're using Ramit's concoction. It gives us 40% to block attack damage and 8 block spell damage. It's not a lot, but I guess it's a defensive layer. And I'm using 2 flasks because yeah, I'm a noob. I guessing the only important part is this removes curses unused. I didn't change this, but we're also immune to bleeding and also to corrupted blood. Let me show you the tree. So basically going mindless aggression, then unnatural strength, then bone barrier. We're not using the bone armor skill because I think Molten Shell is better, but we're taking this for the increased minion life, and then Commander of Darkness for the increased damage and the elemental resistance. This is how the tree looks like. We're basically taking almost every minion node that we can find. We'll want to take also this minion area of effect, a fearsome force. Maybe if we still level up, also want to get this jewel socket. and also basically life and energy shield, somewhat energy shield, I guess. For the cluster jewels, Scar to Slaughter, Feasting Feeds, and Raise and Pillage. This basically gives us minion life, minion damage. Raise and Pillage gives us increased damage against ignited enemies. We usually should ignite enemies, so I guess that. Also, Scar to Slaughter is kind of surge of movement speed while they're created. For the medium cluster one, we're using Feasting Feeds and Hulking Corpses. So just for the life and damage. So we're getting only immunity for corrupted blood from this jewel, and for the other jewel we're having a prismatic, a Watcher's Eye prismatic jewel that's unaffected by bleeding or affected by malevolence and affected by poison. This is more of a comfort jewel, I guess. You could probably switch up the malevolence for something else, but I kinda like the whole idea. I don't know. Yeah. So I bought this for 5 exalts, I believe. Yeah, the prices are what they are, I guess. We're also using Glorious Vanity, Timeless Jewel, for the Corrupted Soul, so we have some energy shield. This is also in combination with Forbidden Flesh Cobalt Jewel and Forbidden Flame Crescent Jewel. That gives us Vile Bastion. This also gives us stun immunity, which is extremely great. I've noticed that after I put this on, I've been dying quite. It's very difficult to be dead, let's say, because usually I died because I got stunned, it seems. And also it kind of synergizes well with Corrupted Soul. So yeah. These two were out 20 exalts together. Oh yeah, now they're more expensive, but they were like maybe not 20, but yeah, almost 20, 22, something like that. Now we explain the why we have these points allocated. We're using Fortress Covenant Cobalt Jewel that gives us increased damage, and basically the important part is the notable passive skills in Radius are transformed to instead run minion take increased damage. So without having this, minions take increased damage, the minions would stay along for quite a bit. See, I can show you this. See, it's going and going and going, and basically we're not achieving our goal of having them to blow up. Bad part about this positioning is, well, there's a good part and a bad part. The bad part is because we're losing Lord of the Dead, which gave us damage and increased life, and also boost maximum skeletons. The other possibility would be to use it here and take Fate of Soul, Overcharge, Endurance, and Devotion. The thing is that this we missing out on 20% increased minion taking increased damage, first of all, which is noticeable. And also we're having some mana problems. So by specking here, and we're getting this mana node, and we're getting these mana nodes, and also some chance to block spell damage. This is a matter of preference, I guess. You could change this to this. I had this for the most part. Yeah. The POB will be available in the description anyway, so you could check that out. Let's do a map so I can show you how it's going. Let's see if we have a strand. What the hell? I'll leave that. Also, we're having like summon Flame Golem and Raise Spectre in the gloves. I forgot about this. With Minion Speed and Minion Life. I'm using Tail, Seraphim, and Arena Master for my minions. The Pale Seraphim should increase the damage on the bosses. I forgot what the Arena Master does, but basically, yeah. They're support minions. Okay. This is gonna take a while, as I'll show you how like the bossing mechanic works. We're basically using the Wall Summon Skeletons to kill our bosses quickly. Kinda got unlucky with the map, but yeah. As you can see, this is not a good Legion clear build, because we don't like have instant damage. In the beginning, the idea of the build was somewhat to have them, the skeleton explode instantly. I could try to make that work, somewhat make that work, but it would require me to change some of my gear, because the basically the skeletons do not explode instantly because I'm running putative elements first of all, and I'm also running the ascendancy point. Yeah, that gives me and the minions 30% resistances. So basically the minions are capped, well, they're over capped, I guess, with the elemental resistances, and I didn't find a way to remove those resistances from the minions. So you could have only 40% minion resistances to them, and that will make them take a lot more damage easier. But that would require me to have more resistance on my gear and to have basically better gear. And I'm not ready to do that. Probably will try this in the future if I get some more currency, so I can just buy the items and not worry about crafting them. I'll still have to craft the gloves, because minion gloves with a whole lot of resistance quite cost a lot, like really a lot. I'll show you basically the gloves I crafted and how much, if you could even buy them, because last time I checked I couldn't even buy a pair of minion gloves. I guess we got our flammability level 20. That's good, I think. As you can see, the flame golem kind of dies. And also, the same thing happens with the seraphims from time to time. That's annoying. But yeah. So, when we get to the bosses, we pop our vulnerable shield, we pop our raw skeletons, and let them basically explode. So, that was the map. Let's go to the POB. So, if we go to Infernal Legion, you can see the DPS is like almost 80k, and for Minion Instability is 160. Yeah, this is the ignite damage has always been like very weird for me. I'm not counting this, just so you know. So I'm looking at only at this 160. You can see it's Cyrus. We have enemy covers the Nash, and I have this ticked out. It's somewhat should be almost ticked off always, but yeah. And I've put enemy is ignited because they usually are if we're talking about bosses. That's about it. Yeah, so basically this is the Commander of Darkness. This is the one I'm talking about, the elemental resistance. So no, I can show you actually that. Yes, we show Minion Stats, and they have 65, 2 of them. But basically I told you they're overcapped, and if we remove of elements and this one, basically take probably I'll take this one. You see they're down only to 40. So probably this is the way of making them load faster. Also, basically if you have more levels, you could go infused flesh on here, and yeah, the other 3 points are kind of waste. So because we're not using a staff, probably waste 3 points here, and we're not using a wand, we'd waste 3 points here. Other thing you could do is go skittering runes, but you're wasting 1 point here and just 4 points. So if you're going that way, maybe they'll explode instantly. That could be a solution, I guess. I'll probably try that in the future. Okay guys, hope you liked it and have a good one.